I told Ed Fitzgerald yesterday when I saw him this was going to be a very crowded place today, but as everybody knows, this is a microcosm of a crowded district, which we are in University Circle. It's a good thing. We hope that all the construction activity that's happening, Mayor and County Exec and everybody else that participates in this, it's bringing you guys income tax, property tax, sales tax, and the like. And in our world, density is not a dirty word. So thanks for coming to probably one of the more dense places between Chicago and New York. There is a little aggravation in getting to places like this, but there's a reason. And I think the mayor will probably touch more on this and County Executive Fitzgerald, but we are in a 3 radial block area that in the last 2 years has amassed $700 million in construction just in 3 blocks in and around this area. I think as I look over the room, there's just about everybody to thank for that, but I want to first and foremost thank our neighbors, many of whom are here represented today from across Euclid at the CIA, Uptown, Mocha, Church of the Covenant, and its brilliant new Centennial Sanctuary. I saw Bert Campbell here in Grafton Nunes and more of you who represent those institutions. We thank you. You're a part of that $700 million in investment 3 blocks in each direction. Certainly to our partners at University Hospitals. I saw Mary Beth here today. Thank you for representing University Hospitals. We are elated that the 2010 plan, thanks to your team, Tom Zenny and Steve Stanley and all of you guys over at UH have netted for us a $516 million neighbor, so, and growing. All told, that's about $2 billion in this 20-block area. So in our $700 million corner, you fan out about a mile in each direction, and that's not even including the Cleveland Clinic down the street, but from UH to the VA to the CMA to Mocha at the other end, we're looking at a $2 billion investment here in University Circle. So it is my great pleasure to talk for a moment about our next neighbor down the construction line, and that's the new Courtyard by Marriott University Circle Hotel that is going to be built right behind these doors. It did take a whole team to get us here, a whole team from the city of Cleveland, the county, our lenders and financiers. You know who you are. Some of us know you, some of us don't, so we hope to get to know you more in the next few minutes. But if I spare and spare me the agony of forgetting anybody to thank, let me just say thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of you. You all somewhere, you wouldn't be here today if you weren't a part of this process. So that's our qualifier. You've been thanked, whether your name gets pulled out or not. So a few quick specifics. I do want to acknowledge our elected officials who are here today. They've helped both on a finance end, the project planning, the site logistics, their staff, the permitting that's gone along with this. I actually asked Brian at noon today, how's it going? He was on the phone with the permitting office over at your shop, Mayor, and he said, fine. I like to hear that. Fine. Things are going fine. They don't need us yet because city and county have been extremely helpful. So to County Executive Fitzgerald, to Mayor Frank Jackson, to County Council President C. Ellen Conley, to County Councilwoman Yvonne Conwell, who's here today, and to City Council members Kevin Conwell and Jeff Johnson, who, if they're not here, are to be here. We want to thank all of you and anybody else that's an elected official that's helped us along the way, and certainly their staff. We see a lot of the staff from city and county, Port and others today here. Our developer, Pete Snavely, is going to thank some of our other public and private sector participants in a minute, but let me take a moment to point out one really unique feature and really an agency that's transformed itself in terms of what it does. I talked to Pete Snavely on the phone day before yesterday, and we were talking about the Northeast Ohio Sewer District, and he used the reference, that's the cool factor in this. And I have to explain this a little bit, but I don't know if Kyle Dreyfus Wells is here yet, or her team, maybe they're finding parking from NEORSD, but let me tell you, it is not your NEORSD of yesteryear. They've partnered with us in the project to really create an innovative new partnership. It's the first of its kind for NEORSD and probably one of the first of its kind in the city. 1 million gallons of stormwater will be infiltrated right into the ground beneath your feet because of the innovative partnership that we've got. Basically, we are in the Donebrook watershed, and we have the opportunity either to create an impermeable surface out back or to create a pervious surface that actually contributes to the ecosystem and doesn't detract from it. So with NEORSD's $192,000 investment on a pilot site outside We, along with our friends from KA Architects, GPD Civil Engineers, Don France from Metro Consulting, and the UCI staff have actually been able to create what we hope, Mayor, is a pilot project of environmental sustainability that really meets the goals of the 2019 plan to create a footprint that is not so impactful to the environment around it. So you won't see storm water runoff floating into the Doan Brook and floating down to Lake Erie. I know I'm taking a moment on the environmental side of this, but we think it's a cool factor, as Pete mentioned. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. And again, the team that helped design that. All right, that's our 21st century state-of-the-art pervious paver parking lot. Now let me go into what the building and design team has been building. First of all, it's going to be a 153-room, 8-story LEED certified hotel that the local planning and design firm of Braun and Steidel has helped bring together. And now to our developer, and many of his staff's around here today. I was joking quickly with some of them that at noon, this place just looked like a construction office, and now you've made it into our groundbreaking office. But the whole team from the Snavely Group, from Pete Sr. to Pete Jr., and all of the team around him, they're locally headquartered, nationally renowned. They're an experienced developer. You've heard the Snavely name all over town, most often associated with hotel projects across the country, and their partner, Concord Hospitality Enterprises, Mark Laporte, who we welcome back and going to introduce in a moment. But they've become really one of the nation's premier teams when it comes to getting hotels done. Kurt Kurland from the UCI Property Committee said to us the other day over at UCI, he said, "Do you realize in the country how few hotels got financed last year?" Referencing this one as one of the very few that actually got financed in the difficult economy. They figured out how to get it done. And together, they are delivering a state-of-the-art, reasonably priced hotel that will cater to our 3 million visitors, business travelers, families for patients, families for students, families for cultural goers just going down the street, across the street to Mocha, or one of the dozen arts and cultural venues. That's what this hotel is going to house. People that are coming to the Circle for the education, medical, arts, and cultural experience that they will experience. Pete Snavely often jokes to me that he's drank the University Circle Kool-Aid. He says that many times. We don't know if we're drinking his Kool-Aid or he's drinking ours, but we think we're all actually drinking the Kool-Aid, that it is a positive experience, that this place literally is on the grow, and it's the place to be if you're a developer or anybody that cares about building out an urban environment with our team. So it's my privilege to now introduce UCI's partner and friend, who will introduce his partner and friend, Mark Laporte. Please give a round of applause for Pete Snavely, president of the Snavely Group.
And now you know why we're drinking the University Circle Kool-Aid. Chris does a nice job of putting it all together and packaging it and presenting it. It's a great place to be, and we're very happy to be here. You know, we're here largely because of the vision of University Circle Inc. in their aspirations to develop a hotel. We've spent the last 2 years working very hard. There's been a number of people, a number of businesses that have contributed to being here this afternoon. I'll name a few, probably not get to all of them, but hopefully 12 months from now, our sand pile in the back is going to turn into a 153-room Courtyard by Marriott hotel, and if we can get it built, we're targeting the end of the year. We're thinking that we can get that done, so we're real excited about that. Really, on behalf of my family, I just want to tell you I'm very grateful to be here. This whole University Circle market is awesome. It's been a pleasure working with University Circle Inc., with Chris, with Jamie, with Debbie Barry and Tom McNona. They've contributed greatly to the cause. Mayor, your staff has been tremendous. Councilman, your staff has been tremendous. I'm sorry, executive. It's been very, very nice to work with everybody. They're problem solvers, and it's been a real pleasure. Cuyahoga County, the City of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County Port Authority all participated in a TIF in direct loans. I want to thank the Ohio Finance Fund for their allocation of New Markets tax credits, and of course I want to thank the University Circle New Markets Tax Credits, Inc. Is that the way it goes? For their allocation of tax credits. These New Markets tax credits are wonderful things to help finance projects like this. They complicate life a lot, but at the end of the day, it's a worthwhile experience, and without the support of all these people and all these organizations, this project wouldn't be going today. So thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Mark, my partner, Mark Laporte, who is the president and chairman of Concord Hospitality. I would say probably the best hotel developer in the country today. And I'm proud to have him as my partner. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Well, the thank yous have gone out again and again, so all I can say is I echo all the thank yous to everybody that has helped make this project real. It was now over 2 years ago that Pete and I were speaking of where can you build hotels in what was and still is a very, very difficult environment that is building lodging facilities anywhere in the United States. We both came up with almost immediately, there's one place that's very unique and we're all standing in it. A vibrant neighborhood with lots and lots of activity. It's business, residential, activated location, all the things, all the components, the elements that make a great hotel a very successful hotel. So finding then the site, putting together a very, very complex capital stack is what brings us here together today. So a Courtyard by Marriott, for those of you who don't know, a leading brand, over 860 hotels that have this name, span North America. It is really interested in saying this, that in the last couple years, the brand has really been reinvented. And so what we will present to this community is, I'll use the cool factor again, a very, very contemporary interior, very upscale, very, call it customer-centric, meeting planner-centric, a great food and beverage facility for the guests of the hotel. And we know it's going to be the most upscale, value-priced offering in all of this part of Cleveland and for many years to come. Now I've got to say what's not right. We spelled Marriott wrong. That being said, we're happy to be here, very excited to be part of the community. You'll be hearing more of us. We'd like to do more than one hotel in this neighborhood, and I'm privileged to be here. Thank you.
So, Mark, there's a reporter by the name of Mike McIntyre. He writes a little column called Tip Off. You just made Tip Off. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, listen, how many of us would have noticed? Details. We put this together very fast, right? So we got the important things right. We got the shovels in the ground. I want to say again to Pete and Mark, you know, when you go out looking for partners to make something happen, it wouldn't happen without you guys getting us started and you taking it over from what was just a vision. The mayor was asking us about where it all started, and I'll end on where we started. But I want to say, with respect to the county, we had ushered in a brand new county system this time last year and a few weeks before. And County Executive Ed Fitzgerald stepped up as a new county executive, and one of his very first acts on the economic development front, Arnold, you remember this in the loan committee, we went before you guys even had your office, I think, assembled. The executive was out there with the keen understanding that University Circle is a vital part of the county's economic development opportunity and strategy. So Ed didn't blink from minute one. He invited us to his first meeting of the county economic development team at Cleveland State, and he announced his commitment about a year ago to this day that the county would be in as a part of the team financing this hotel. And you never look back. Your staff has been great, and here we are today, County Executive Ed Fitzgerald.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for spelling Cuyahoga right on the sign behind me. This is such a great project. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the partnership that we've had over the last couple years to help make this possible. And from the county side of view, we're very supportive of it. I know Councilwoman Conwell is a great advocate for this area because we understand it's not just for the folks who live here or work here, but it's the University Circle area has become an economic engine for growth for really the entire region. It's the growth sector, and it's helping pull up a lot of neighborhoods that haven't had as much direct investment. This project has so many different aspects that complement where we want to see the county head. For instance, we haven't talked yet about how it's a LEED certified project. That's something we want to be known for and that we want to encourage in this area. So we're proud to be part of a project that does that. It complements a hole that's been kind of in our local portfolio in terms of hotel space and hotel rooms. And I just want to talk about that for a second, because through the years, as Cleveland has tried to get some of the bigger nationally known conventions, we've always had kind of that missing in our portfolio, that we didn't have enough hotel options here. But it was kind of like, well, if you have a low occupancy in the first place, you can't really create more hotel rooms just to get a big convention. You have to have the various events and institutions that will draw them in the first place. So University Circle, with all the cultural institutions, medical institutions, you've helped create that base in the first place, which is now going to result in more hotel rooms, which is now going to build on us getting more conventions, and hopefully the whole cycle will just continue to build on itself. I remember a couple years ago, actually more than a couple years ago, a few years ago, when really the Cleveland area, I think, was at its low point economically. A friend of mine was telling me, who's in the construction industry, was telling me how bad things had gotten, and I probably wasn't as attuned to it as I should have been. And I said, well, how bad are things? And he said, well, Ed, just when was the last time you saw a crane in the air? Just the next time you drive around the Cleveland area, you look for one. If you find one, you tell me where it is. And I had never really thought of it in that way. And it was true. And I started driving around. I said, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any construction. It's so great as you travel around the city now, things are being built. Cleveland is building things again. It's very visible representation that we're really on the right track. And I don't want to go any further or wrap up without recognizing our staff members who really did all the spade work, no pun intended on this, but Arnold Lockett and everybody at the development department, give them a hand if you would. I don't have the money to give them a raise, so if you give them a hand, it'll be, we'll talk about that? We'll see. But, yeah. But they did a great job. So we inherited a lot of great people at the county, and we're working with them, and we're supportive of them. I had a meeting. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Mayor, but I had a meeting earlier today with Mayor Jackson. He gave me some food for thought. He usually does, and he was talking about how we all know people who always talk about the way things used to be, or they talk about when the glory days were and when things were great in their life. And they're always looking kind of backwards. And I said, when Mayor Jackson said that to me, I said, I guess that's the same for a community too. There are communities that always were talking about what were their heydays, when was it good? And what I think he and I both agree on is there's a tipping point that I really believe, and this isn't just a rhetoric, I really truly believe that I have started to see in the last few years that people in Cleveland, they're not just talking about how great things were in the 40s and the 50s, they're talking about what it's going to be like. And University Circle has been a great part of that, and we're just very happy to be a partner with you in that. Thanks very much.
County Executive Fitzgerald, thank you for your early investment. Hey. Now that guy does work with me. He will get a raise. So. The mayor and I were just briefly talking on the way in, and we might as well stay a while. The snow is blowing. He was asking about our plans, and Mayor, I have to say, in all sincerity, it started with the Euclid Corridor and the work that your teams helped shepherd through city and county to get the Euclid Corridor project done, but it's made this street such a better place, and it's also attracted investors and developers. We've had sitting on our shelves a long time this plan for a hotel. Didn't know who was going to build it yet, but the street had to get fixed, the environment had to be improved, and I think what you've helped us do is build an environment for investment here in the area. So that's your answer, Mayor, is that we created something called the Euclid Gateway Vision off of the Euclid Corridor, and between your team at the city and your team at the county, you've just made it work with us. So it's my pleasure. He's up at least his second press conference groundbreaking opening today because I saw him at 9 in the morning at the new Cleveland Aquarium, Greater Cleveland Aquarium opening. But he's here for a second tour today, and in between, I'm sure he's had a pretty busy day. But my honor to introduce to you again, Mayor Frank G. Jackson. Mayor.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You know, I want to first congratulate University Circle community, just not the institutions, but, you know, the people who come here every day to work, the people who live here, because of all the investments that you mentioned. And they were investments that we were able to make with the support of the county, the city, the private sector, in a time where other people were retreating. So as others people were retreating, we were investing in the future of not just Cleveland, but as the county executive said, in the future of this county and the region. So I want to congratulate you on all the investment here, as well as what we've done downtown and in the neighborhoods. But you know, none of that would happen without the support and without the hard work of a lot of people. And we stand here and we take whatever credit it is and we talk about it, but the people who work for us, as the county executive has said, are the ones who do the nut and bolt. It's like throwing a good party. You never know the work that went into it. You just know it was a good party. And so there have been a lot of people who work, and they do this because of their commitment and their dedication to the city of Cleveland and to the future of the city of Cleveland. So again, thank you for inviting me. Congratulations, and thanks to all the people who've made this possible.
Mayor, thank you very much. And once again, on the link to downtown and uptown, I don't have to tell most of you what is about to happen, but as the mayor, county exec open up the new medical mart in the convention center, linked by the Euclid corridor, this hotel presents for the visiting delegates of the medical mart that are coming out to the Circle to do business with the hospitals at University Hospitals and the VA and the clinic, an opportunity to connect the dots. So between the infrastructure that you guys are building, you know, we're contributing a small part of it with this new hotel, but it's really about the big picture of the city of Cleveland. My next speaker here could have walked over here. I bet you didn't on this day, but Yvonne Conwell is our nearest neighbor, lives over on Ashbury, just a couple blocks from the UCI offices in our neighboring Glenville community. And we want to welcome back from the 9th District County Council. Do I have the district right? All right, 7th District County Council. She covers a large geography from downtown all the way to the river to the west, all the way to the East Cleveland border here to the east. Our pleasure to introduce again Yvonne Conwell from County Council. Thank you.
Well, without saying, it's my pleasure to be here today, even on a day like today, to give a few brief remarks regarding this phenomenal project. And the reason I say it's phenomenal is because this is a $27 million project that's bringing economic development to this community, and we need it. In these economic times that we're all facing, we know that this project is sorely needed, not only in the University Circle area, but in other areas, and we'll talk about that later, Ed. So I think that's a laugh, because I do cover a wide district. So I thank all the partners that are here today. There's a lot, and we're not going to name them all, but you know who you are. You've been thanked over and over again. And we really thank you from our hearts for the University Circle bringing your development here. And I look forward to future partnerships. This is not only a community effort, but a City of Cleveland effort, as well as the county. So I hope that we have more to look forward to in the future. And I want to close by thanking Marriott Hotel for putting stakes in this district. Thank you.
PNC, we keep having PNC all over our neighborhood, Michael, in a great way. They opened our University Circle Visitor Center when they were National City, and they carried the name PNC forward with our Visitor Center. They are all over our neighborhood. The last time we did a groundbreaking was just across our neighboring border of East Cleveland when we opened up the ground to build Circle East, new townhomes right up the Euclid corridor. They seem to be everywhere all the time when we need them. And it's my pleasure to introduce Michael Taylor. Most of you know him from PNC Bank.
Thanks very much, Chris, and it's certainly a pleasure to be a part of this celebration. And my colleagues, we're certainly excited about the witness of the first steps of building the newest example of the rapid development and growth of University Circle. The groundbreaking for the Courtyard Marriott Hotel represents yet another step in the ongoing collaboration to introduce both visitors and native Clevelanders to the rich gems we have here in the Circle. Whether they're here to take on the world-class museums or to benefit from our internationally renowned healthcare systems, we know those who stay here will be pleased that they found themselves in the Circle. PNC is pleased to play a role in bringing this project to life through loans and equity investments, utilizing new market tax credits. And as we stand here, my colleagues and I feel a strong sense of pride for all of the latest growth that we've been able to assist. From the earlier project of the Park Lane Villa, Chris just made reference to the most recent project of the Circle East. You go around the corner with the Mocha building, and just pretty much everything that's surrounding us. PNC has been honored to be involved in the development happening here in University Circle. And in fact, over the several years, we have provided hundreds of millions of dollars in loans, lines of credits, and more than $250 million of equity investments to the various projects and institutions that call the Circle home. We do all of this because a commitment to serving our communities is a core PNC value. And helping this region grow and thrive is the heart of all that we do. So on behalf of all of my PNC colleagues in the market, I'd like to thank the partners to this project who share our passion for the economic development in the region. To the project sponsors, Navy Building Company, thank you. Our co-sponsor, Concord Hospitality Enterprises, and our partners of the City of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, and UCI, as we commend you for the efforts to make this a reality. Today's celebration is a further reflection of the success that private, government, and local organizations can work together to create for our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael Taylor. We, over the last 3 years, estimate about 3,000 construction worker jobs here in University Circle. And I was reminded today at lunch by a couple friends, new friends, Tad and Josh from Penn Trust, affiliated with the Erect Fund. They suggested that of this hotel alone, it's $8 million in construction worker payroll just on this hotel. So, you know, in the very difficult times, it's the capital infrastructure and developments like these that have kept construction workers going and their families going in this economy. There was a neighbor friend of ours in the city of Cleveland who wrote an email recently and called this the golden era of University Circle, and I think thankfully it has been in a very difficult Great Recession that we've been in. But it wouldn't have happened again without the partnership of all of you that are out here today. I think we've put special emphasis on two things today. The mayor and the county exec referenced the staff, you guys, you know, putting it together, doing all the work to get to the party is a very good point. The other is the lenders. So, you know, we thank again PNC, the Erect Funds, Cuyahoga County, City of Cleveland, Cleveland Cuyahoga County Port Authority, Stifel Nicholas and Company, Huntington National Bank, Ohio Community Development Finance Fund, University Circle New Markets, and of course the Snavely Concord SDC University Circle Equity Investor Fund. You guys put it together. I know that our board wants to also make special mention that the University Circle New Markets tax credit that was put together, our chairman Jamie Ireland chairs that, and Kurt Kirtland's a member of that board. If you see your congressperson, remind them of how important that whole program is, the New Markets tax credit is. I don't have to tell Tracy and others in the city and the county, the Port Arnold, how important that is. But remind a congressperson when it comes up for reauthorization about projects like this that would not have happened without that project. $20 million came to University Circle through the New Markets allocation, 15 of which is going into this hotel. Again, thanks to Radhika Reddy of Aerial Ventures who helped us land that as our consultant and to put that into place. To our staff, if you forget your staff, you can't go back to your office. So I want to thank all of the staff at UCI and the affiliated staff around University Circle for putting this together. And particularly thanks to Debbie Berry and Tom Mignona for staying with us every day. And you're not off the hook for the next year. You're going to be with these guys on every project detail. We set, and this goes back to the mayor's mention of what prompts things like this and was it a part of our plan. It is true that in the second floor offices of UCI, sat a model, just a cardboard model of what could be out in the parking lot we're about to see. And it sat, and then along come some investors with an idea, and then along come a lot of partners to help us move this thing into place. We launched in conjunction, Mayor, to the Euclid Corridor, what we called the Euclid Gateway Vision, and we set forth for 20 blocks through a strategic vision to actually bring back our part of Euclid Avenue. And I guess I say to my staff and to our newest partners at the county, let's keep coming back. We never looked back. We kept breaking ground. We continue to break ground. The institutions have made these other opportunities happen, from hospitality to residential to commercial. It all has been a part of the plan. So it's my pleasure now, well, first to say to you, come back for the ribbon cutting in the year or so that Pete pledged, and come be with Pete and Mark and the rest of the team when we actually cut the ribbon out back. This faces Cornell, directly across from the new Seidman Cancer Center, just so you can get your mind around it. And come back and see us on that day when we cut the ribbon. But for now, for those of you interested, we're going to ask our delegation who just spoke to grab a construction hard hat, grab a shovel, and come meet us out back. And I think Polly will lead the way. Thank you all for being here. And then come back for the reception, if you will.
Everybody ready? Everybody look up spot. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Woo. There you go, man. You hit a rock.
Thank you for braving it. Reception inside, and anything else, Pete?
I think we're good to go. Thanks for coming.
Onward.
Good deal.
Thanks, everybody.